Okay, if you're criticizing the Mormon Church and all of your arguments against Mormonism are dependent on the doctrines of the church not matching what is said in the Bible, I hate to say it, but you're 100% just wasting your time. Because the very fundamental, from the beginning, the foundation of Mormonism is the fact that the Bible does not contain the fullness of the gospel. And this disconnect between mainstream Christianity and Mormonism is what causes so many wasted arguments in online spaces, in debates, in conversations between friends. If you are trying to prove that the Mormon church is false by referencing the Bible and saying, well, this can't be true because it's not in the Bible. You can't become exalted. It's not in the Bible. You shouldn't do baptisms for the dead. It's not in the Bible. There's no reason to have modern prophets because again, it's not in the Bible. If those are all of your arguments against the Mormon church, you are 100% completely wasting your time. And not only are you wasting your time, but you're actually fundamentally just not understanding the origins of Mormonism. You're not understanding their doctrine. And you're just not going to get through to anybody. You're not going to be able to use the Bible to disprove the Mormon church. Then what can you use? A lot of people will go into the doctrines of the church and they'll try and find inconsistencies, and they'll try and find things that you just personally don't agree with. But if I'm being completely honest, that's really just not going to work, because from the way I see it and from what I've studied in Mormonism, from what I've seen growing up in Mormonism, is that the theology of the church is what you would call cohesive, where the minute you accept its foundational claims, the minute you accept that Joseph Smith is a prophet of God, and that the church has all of the priesthood authority and it has continuing revelation, then any questions that you have about the doctrines of the church are answered within the doctrines of the church. It's circular, it's cohesive, it supports itself all on its own. So, how do you argue against it? Well, what you need to do is you need to focus on the Book of Mormon, because, as Joseph Smith put it, the Book of Mormon is the keystone of the religion. If the Book of Mormon is not what it says it is, then the entire religion falls apart. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Book of Mormon has to be 100% true. Now, a lot of people will try and say, okay, so maybe the Book of Mormon isn't historically accurate, but it's true because it contains gospel principles that aren't included in the Bible. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. The Book of Mormon has to be exactly what it claims to be. It has to be a historical account of people who lived in ancient America. It has to be. If it is anything other than that, then the entire religion falls apart. So the Book of Mormon describes massive population growths. It names dozens of cities by name. Okay, that's not vague. It's not just kind of descriptions that can be applied to a lot of places. It has things by name with descriptions of the land that they're surrounded by. It describes wars that kill millions of people, thousands of people, hundreds of people, all sorts of wars all over the place. We need to be able to have some kind of proof, absolute proof, that any of these cities by name actually existed. We need to be able to have proof of specific wars actually happening, of entire civilizations rising and falling. The climax of the Book of Mormon is the fact that Jesus Christ came to the American continent and converted everybody. He converted everybody. Every single person in all the land was converted to Christianity and lived as Christians for, what was it? It was like several generations. Okay, there should be evidence of that. And the fact that there is not is enough to tear down the Book of Mormon. There's no proof that any of it happened. No definite proof. I mean, by all means, there's apologists that find archaeological things and they try and say, well, this could potentially maybe fit the storyline of the Book of Mormon. This could possibly, maybe, potentially be the one thing that we're looking for. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing that can definitively be connected to a specific event in the Book of Mormon. While the apologetic speculation has its place in discussion and it has its place in furthering research that could potentially someday prove that the Book of Mormon is true, at the end of the day, all it is speculation. And the reality is that faith inspiring speculation is still just speculation. And speculation isn't proof.